Hello everyone, this is Emily Josephine, and I've been thinking that some of you have been a little bit curious maybe as to what our earth-sheltered home, our very small earth-sheltered home, it's 24 by 24 interior, which is 576 square feet, how much it costs to get it all done. All the excavation, putting up the shell, burying, finishing it out, how much did it cost us? So I'm going to give you a breakdown today. So if you will excuse me, I do have my Kindle here. I downloaded all the, or uploaded or downloaded all the information on my Kindle, and so I'll be looking down at that and referring to it. And so how much does an earth-sheltered house cost? Well, when I originally contacted the company, we used Conrad's Castles, and this was several years ago. I was quoted between, like I said, well, between 140 or 100, so like 100 to $120 per square foot, the same price as any custom-made home. And this was assuming that you paid contractors to finish it out. You didn't do it yourself. Well, when we contacted them second time, when we started actually getting the process going, he told us that they put up the earth-sheltered home shell for one guy somewhere who did all the finishing work out himself, and it ended up costing him, oh, I think he said $55, $60 per square foot. Well, if this house had cost us $60 per square foot, it would have been less than $36,000. So when he told me that, I was all excited, like, wow, it's going to be under $40,000. Of course, there's going to be screw-ups and everything costs more than you think. So let's just say it's going to cost us $40,000 to build this house, including everything. Well, not including everything. Apparently, he did not include the cost of the excavation or the burial. I don't know if he... Well, even if you do go out and rent your own machines, it costs a lot to rent those, and it takes way more time than you think to bury, or it took way more time than we thought to bury it. So, I mean, when you're renting machines, and even if you've got friends helping you for free or whatever, you know, it's going to be a lot of days to rent 2 or 3 different machines. So whether you hire somebody or you do it yourself, it's still going to cost you. So that if you ever plan to have an earth-sheltered house built, make sure you figure out the excavation and burial. And the burial ended up costing more than we had originally planned. So all right, here we go, the expense breakdown. And this is a blog post that I put on my Live Your Dreams with Emily blog a while back. Let me just read it verbatim here. The final total is going to be slightly inaccurate, say by up to $400. That's because I may have missed writing down some screws or lumber we bought at the hardware store during the finishing out process or some such thing. But for the most part, the following numbers are accurate. I'm going to list the item and then the cost. Here we go. The soil test to determine the weight-bearing capacity of the soil cost us $2,000. Just the soil test. But we needed it because we found out that we needed to do something to increase the weight-bearing capacity of the soil. Excavation of the site ended up costing close to $2,000. I have $1,913. Hooking up to the water grid. We had to hook up to the water grid because when Troy put a layer of, put like 2 feet of dirt on when the burial of the house, we had to go by with the hose and tamp it all down with water. So, I mean, there's no way we would have enough water to do that in our rain tanks, plus our household use. So it costs $900 around here to do the initial hookup to the water grid. The shell construction, which is mostly labor, so the cost here is the labor, paying the guys, and the concrete and rebar ended up costing $39,154. And right there, it ended up costing more than, we were originally quoted. And this was just the shell, okay? Now I need to throw in there also, because we only wanted a 1-module home, because that's how they do the construction. They have metal forms to create, the squares that they pour concrete into, and excuse me, it's really not worth it to them to travel to a place and just do one module. It's a little bit, he said, so the guys don't get paid enough with labor with just one module. So we had to pay an extra $5,000 just like a convenience fee, or an inconvenience fee, I should say. So if not for that inconvenience fee, the shell construction would have been $34,154. But still, it was off on the, you know, the estimated cost per square foot. The doors, windows, bathroom ceiling, and interior walls, $2,218. So this is because Jerry, well, okay, so we had to hire a guy to put in the concrete floor after the shell was put up. And we had to hire electricians to come and put the big cable, you know, through everything and hook up our circuit breaker box. So we did hire people to do that. But all the other finishing out in here was done by myself, but mostly Jerry. So understand, we did not pay anyone labor to do the interior walls, you know, to do all the work in here, because we did it ourselves. If we had had to pay someone, that cost probably would have been triple. Electrical connection, including the outside cable to connect the house with the power line, was $1,103. It was several $100s, I think, just to buy the cable. The floor, so this was including paying somebody to put in the first concrete floor, and then paying for the tile, grout, and miscellaneous tiling accessories, was $3,230. Building the beds and the kitchen cabinet, including the cost of the sink. Actually, the sink is the only thing we bought for the kitchen cabinet because everything else was made out of scrap material. The sink was about $100. Well, let's just say the sink was about $100. Benjamin's loft bed and our high platform bed only cost a couple $100 together, so that was pretty good. Now here we come, the burial of the house. Are you ready? Remember how much the excavation was, $1,900 something. The burial of the house includes labor, liquid rubber, which we needed to waterproof the outside of the shell before it was buried, the 6 mil plastic, which also went over the shell before it was buried, and the styrene. That was all for waterproofing. The liquid rubber, 6 mil plastic, and styrene was for waterproofing the outside. All of that, so labor and the waterproofing materials, $11,005. Now the good thing was we were given the soil. I should say the soil was offered to us. We were able to extract it for free from the land next to us. If we had had to pay for soil, the cost of burial probably would have doubled. And as it were, you know, originally we thought the cost of the burial would be, you know, maybe $7,000, $8,000, including the waterproofing, and it was over $11,000. And miscellaneous expenses, the hardware store items, the screws, the nails, and so forth, $849. Okay, so the cost of our very small 576 square feet earth-sheltered house turns out to be $62,872. Yeah, so that's over $100 per square foot. Actually, here, I wrote it in the blog post. $109 per square foot. Yep. So there you go. Word to the wise. I'm going to give you 2 words to the wise. If you're thinking about having an earth-sheltered house built, it's going to probably cost 1/3 more than you think it is. Well, this is true of anything. Even if you figure in the excavation and burial, that process is probably going to cost more than you think. Add 1/3 more than your original estimate, and you'll be close. And the second heads up is if you live in a humid subtropical area like we do, you will never be able to not have electricity in your home. You will always have to have the ceiling fan running. I only turn off the ceiling fan when I'm doing videos in here. And you will always have to, you will frequently have to use a dehumidifier. You may be able to work it so you can go off-grid with the electricity if you really, really want to. But a dehumidifier and air conditioner, they do suck up the watts. So if you're a person who wants to be completely electricity free, an earth sheltered house is not for you in a humid subtropical climate. I just thought I'd go off on that tangent because the people who watch this video are probably people who are thinking about building such a house, and I want to make sure you go in with your eyes wide open. All right, well, thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed hearing about the breakdown of those expenses, give me a thumbs up, and you share this video if you have anybody you think is interested in earth sheltered houses. I'll see you next time. In the meantime, please give to your favorite charity this week.